Hi everybody. First session after lunch is always a few minutes we have to wait for everybody to get back from the food, but I think we'll start, otherwise we will run late, and I don't want to do that either. So just to get things rolling, so my name's Tony Smith, I'm the Communications Director at APNIC, I'm moderating this session today. We're going to be talking about internet security over the next 90 minutes from different perspectives. We'll hear from a national cert, a highly respected internet researcher, a leader of an operator's incident response team, and from one of our own security trainers. So why security? We know that this is important to you because you told us so. In the APNIC survey that we conduct every 2 years, and the last one was last year, it was rated as the #1 concern facing operators by our survey respondents. So today we're going to talk through, as I said, from different perspectives. We're going to discuss the threat landscape. We're going to talk through the need for skilled security personnel. We're going to look at what operators are doing or not doing to secure networks and routing. And we'll look at why cooperation is needed to help defend internet infrastructure. We have 4 presenters, and we'll have time for questions after each, if we all keep to time. So enough from me. Our first speaker today will provide us with some insights into the threat landscape and trends to help set the scene. Jiyong Hong is a researcher with KR Cert CC, which is Korea's national cert, and is part of KISA, which is the Korea Internet and Security Agency. Welcome, Jiyong.
Hi everyone. Hope you enjoyed your lunch. Did you? Okay, good. Well, I would like to present a security landscape from the view of KR30CC and its partner. I'm Ji-young Ho. I work for the Korean Internet and Security Agency, or KISA, and especially as a part of KISA, I work for KR30CC, which is the Korean national cert. Well, as a researcher in KR30CC, I work for the International Cyber Intelligence Team, which covers the international cooperation generally in the KR30CC. We conduct projects, for example, for capacity building or collaboration with international organizations like World Bank, and we also run our own international platform called CAMP, and in the team works for the international collaboration and cooperation among certs. For example, I am contacting with other certs for preventing and responding to cyber incidents, and I also sharing information with other certs. So, okay, it's not fully over. Okay. Well, then what is KISA and KR Cert? Well, in Korea, there are 3 major columns for cybersecurity under the Blue House. Well, as you already guessed, the Ministry of Defense covers the military section, and for the public sectors, the National Intelligence Service covers the public sector, and for the whole private sector, the Ministry of Science and ICT, or called the MSIP, covers the private sector, and under the MSIP, KISA works for the implementation of the policy made by MSIP. So KISA has several roles with the mission of Internet Information Security Promotion Agency, leading global competitiveness. We work for promotion for cybersecurity, and we also protect personal information. We also conduct research and development for cybersecurity, and we try to expand the international security market itself and assist some small and medium-sized enterprise in Korea to go further internationally. And for among the 4 groups, you can find the groups working for the international security at the left top side of the box. Well, this is what KRCERT do in the KISA. Well, the group is called KRCERT-CC, or domestically it is called KISC, Korea Internet Security Center. The KISC has several divisions and teams for analysis, detecting, information sharing, and data analyzing. So that is basically what KISA and KRCERT-CC is doing. As we are trying to protect and prevent more cybersecurity in Korea and internationally, we have to cooperate with other organizations or enterprises domestically or internationally. So KRCERT-CC right now, as a member of a first NAP CERT group, we are actively joining and participating in international platform, in international organization. And we also bilaterally cooperate with other CERTs like JP CERT in Japan or Chinese CERT, CN CERT. And we also run a cyber threat intelligence network, both domestically and internationally. Well, domestically, we are working with several Korean international security-related organizations, which is ANMEP, Hauri, EBSoft, Inca Internet, NSHC, BISCAN. Well, some of them you may haven't heard, but those are major international major internet security organization in Korea. Some of them are vendors and some of them are antivirus software developed enterprise. So we are collaborate and cooperate with them and sharing information with them and gathering on a regular basis, almost a monthly basis, for sharing information and our perspective. So as one of the achievements of this domestic cyber threat intelligence network, we issued an outlook of a cyber threat in 2019. This is the paper we issued. It includes 7 subjects for outlook of cyber threat in 2019, which is based on what we watched and what we detected in 2018. So I'd like to briefly introduce what we watched and what should we watch in 2019 based on the 7 subjects in this paper. So this is the main content of the 7 subjects in the paper. I'd like to introduce the first one. Well, domestic cyber threat intelligence network includes with composed with 7 major organizations. Each organization take responsibility. Take charge for each subjects and predicts what they think that could be a major threat in 2019. And the first one is the cryptojacking in a variety of ways. Well, in 2018 in Korea, we found a diverse cryptojacking malware distributed through a diverse way. And we also found that hackers attacked company servers, not just person private users, to compromise and distribute minor malware. We also found that some malwares that hinders antivirus program from updates. So it makes the antivirus program to make the antivirus program hard to detect the malware itself. So that's what we found in 2018. And based on this background, we think that there will be more crypto mining apps because in 2019, mobile devices or other IoT devices will be more generalized. And we also think that hackers will compromise vulnerability IoT devices and use them for mining on a large scale. And we also think that script-based malware will be continuously distributed in 2019 too. And the second issue is SNS. Well, in 2019, we found that the Facebook hacked result of this 50 million accounts were exposed to public. And also, like Instagram or KakaoTalk, which is a very famous, popular chat program in Korea, some celebrities' accounts were hacked and could be used for distributing malware or for phishing or something like that. And we also found some phishing use fake events at SNS. For example, in the Facebook, you can find fake events like they're gonna provide a very good discount for jewelry or very good products or something like that. And if a user clicks the fake events, they're gonna get the phishing attack. Based on the background, we are thinking that in 2019, the malware could be distributed on a large scale through hacking famous SNS accounts like celebrities or politicians or some very popular people. And we also think that the hackers can also make a fake profile, fake accounts, which can be used for phishing. We are calling it as social network phishing. We also think that based on the SNS Messenger, they can conduct APT attack based on the messenger, so they can attack a specific person by the messenger program. And next is about the attacks for exploiting endpoint vulnerability. Well, in 2018, it found out that the hackers used a number function of software like macro for attacking people. So it was very startling. They are not just use abnormal function of software, they are using the normal functions like updating of software or macro of software is normal functions, so hard to detect and hard to prevent sometimes. And we can also find malware distributed by stealing certificates and using updates of software function. We also found that hackers use exploit vulnerability in CPU itself. So based on this facts, we think that the hackers will continuously and more use the normal function of software for compromising and distribute malware. So we think that the number of hackings will be done through script-based malware and system management functions in OS, which OS already had, and malware will be created with open source code and penetration software. And we also think that exploiting normal antivirus software functions and vulnerabilities will be growing. So we should detect and be aware of the kinds of attacks that use the normal function of software itself. The first subject is intelligent spearfishing and APT attack. Well, in 2018, we found that the phishings using popular issues like cryptocurrency, housing, or stock markets. Meanwhile, we also found that the traditional subjects are still used, such as resume, or free phones, or warrants saying that you are violating property rights. Regarding to the APT attacks, in Korea, some websites still use ActiveX. Usually, we found out that some hackers use the ActiveX vulnerability and use it for the attacks for APT. So with the background of this, we think that in 2019, spearfishing will target a person as the artificial intelligence technique will enhance. We think that the spearfishing will target a person with the AI technology improved. And we also think that phishings are still used with the popular issue like cryptocurrency, or they can also use some fake news that can be very popular or that can be provocative. And we also think that small and medium-sized enterprises can be a target of APT, because in Korea we found some attacks targeting small and medium-sized enterprises because they are vulnerable and they does not have a good quality of internet security. And this is the fifth subject. It is regarding to IoT. Well, as IT devices are used more and more people would like to use various kinds of IoT, we found out that the increasing of IoT itself could be a new way of cyber threat itself. And we think that cyber attacks targeting smart car or traffic systems or network services itself could be conducted. In September 2018, also hacking demonstration on IP cameras, smart freezer, and car Bluetooth was conducted. And based on this fact that we can predict that in 2019 there could be more attacks using IoT or itself or IoT vulnerabilities. So we think that there would be a growing number of IoT devices which are used for botnet or compromised and used for attacks. And we also think that the IoT botnet could be used for DDoS attacks targeting, for example, cryptocurrency. It is just one example, but there could be another types of attacks for targeting the popular issue in 2019. And we also think that the compromised IoT could be used for stealing personal information or distributing malware. And the sixth subject is about software supply chain. Well, in 2018, KRCC found out that the hackers attacking developer itself, and which made a homepage shutdown. So we think that in 2019, there could be more hackers who attacking developers or companies who provide solutions to public, because it could be a very efficient way if you know little small vulnerability, then you can use the whole people who use the software or website they are developing. We also find that some hackers who exploiting vulnerabilities on website. We also find out that the code science certificate was hacked and used for malicious behavior. So based on this, in 2019, we think that more hackers will exploit vulnerability on software for hacking and stealing information. And also, a great number of hacking will be committed, which is targeting code signing certificate. And this is the seventh subject, which is last but not least. It is a subject predicted by Kisa, my company. Well, we think that attacks are evolved and it evolves to avoid detection. It's based on some malwares we analyzed in 2018. Well, in 2018, we found a VPN filter. It raises its trace to make the antivirus software hard to find itself and hard to detect. And we also find some malwares targeting posts such as pine kite or tiny posts. In addition, we also find Pi Lucky ransomware. It is a ransomware malware imitating Lucky ransomware, but with anti-machine learning technology. Well, based on this subject, we predict that in 2019, there could be a more malware which evade blocking of CNC by DGA technology. DGA technology refers to domain generation algorithm. The DGA malware generates CNC every time automatically, so it is hard to detect and hard to blocking CNC servers. So the Internet Security Agency's organization try to make detection technology with artificial intelligence and machine learning technology. And the bad news is that the hackers use the machine learning technology for creating malwares too. So we assume that there could be some cyber threat from malware which have technology to avoid the machine learning detection systems. And last, we think that attackers will keep attacking central management software like patch management systems and security management system, because it could be a very efficient way to attack the whole servers or the whole company. So that is the 7 subjects that I am presenting today. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji-young. Do we have any questions at all? Feel free to come to the mics if there's any questions. No? No brave souls? Please come to the microphone.
Hi, Jung. I'm JP sir from Japan. Your speech is very interesting to hear and very good to your working. And one thing that I want to know is this information is very worthwhile because very detailed things you explain very well. And so is there any opportunity to like security vendor and people who like are looking into malware activity things, to analysis of malware. Do they have the opportunity to hear about your speech, about your detailed things? Is there have any like a meeting with them to share the information that you heard, that you
Well,
observed?
Okay, thanks for your question. Well, in Korea, it is issued publicly to Korean people, so I think they can find details of the information through internet, I guess. But as of now, it is for Korean people. We haven't actually we haven't expected to present about this internationally, so we didn't. I assume that we didn't prepare these materials in English. But if you want, I can find the detailed materials in Korean.
Oh, so because in Japan we have like a meeting, a conference for like a security vendor as well as this malicious people who really in love do these things toward malware. JSAC is Japan Analysis Security Conference. We hold that once a year. So it's going to be a good opportunity to the people who live in Korea as well. If you have the conference launched by a KISA or your company, to have the conference in your country, to share the information together with this kind of people. Yeah, that's my comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, we hold a conference for several purposes. One for one of the big events will be held in July, I guess. We have a Information Security Day on July 10th this year, so we're gonna hold a half-day conference, and we also hold a conference for critical infrastructure organizations. So there are some conferences, something like that. Okay, thank you.
So our next speaker needs a little introduction. He's one of the world's most prominent internet researchers and one of the most opinionated. It's Jeff Houston, our chief scientist.
Afternoon all. I think I have 7 minutes, is that right? I have more. Oh, okay. I have more. Thanks for the opportunity to come and talk today. Life developed on this planet as cellular life 3.4 billion years ago. It's been around for a while. And cellular life developed in two major paths. One was towards multicellular animals, so that what became single cell became multi-cell, became us. That more and more complexity came in as organisms required more and more cells. But there was another life form. This was viruses. And viruses started very similar to cells, but by about 1.6 billion years ago, they had shed all of the unnecessary stuff, even the ability to replicate by themselves. And it was a pure piece of DNA that invaded a host and replicated. And as any of you who have had a viral infection, and I know I have, you all have, they are incredible. They'll kill. They often do. What's going on? Part of the issue with the way viruses work so effectively is they exploit our own complexity. We constantly regenerate our cells. The DNA is constantly, the cells are dividing and reforming based on those DNA instructions. Think of a virus as a piece of data. And when it enters the cell, that data becomes an instruction. And the instruction is now replicate the virus, not replicate bits of me. And so in some ways, when we created the von Neumann computer architecture, which actually said everything is data, some we feed to the CPU and becomes instructions, we actually are very similar to biological systems. And all you need to be able to do to pervert a computer is to feed it data and then that computer interpret that data as an instruction, which is precisely what Robert Tappan Morris did in November of 1988, when he exploited an overflow bug in the C command, getS, as I recall, which didn't have a buffer length. And by feeding a long buffer into the remote machine that actually contained a deliberate stack overflow and then his own instructions, he persuaded the target to execute his code, replicate and head on. Now, we're never going to rid the world of viruses biologically. I'm sorry, it just ain't going to happen. They've been around for a lot longer than humanoids and will be around a lot longer after us too. Thinking that we can rid the world of biological viruses is just rubbish. Thinking we can rid computer systems of viruses is equally insane. At best, we can just put up with it. At worst, we can create a pantomime or theatre mistaking progress for motion, because it's just motion. If this is a fight, we've lost it. If this is a fight, we're never going to win. Because this is really, really hard. Because we're creating systems that are now so complex, their very complexity is being turned against us. So securing the internet is astonishingly difficult. And I really do think, glumly, that our chances of success are vanishingly small. And I have all the sympathy in the world for all these certs, but no optimism, unfortunately. Why is this? Why have we created such a beast where some of these things are so challenging? Because in the start, back in 1988, things looked really optimistic. IP was a runaway success. We didn't have an IP marketing department. We didn't have IP symposiums. Let's all go and run IP. It just sold itself. It flew out the door. It was a runaway success. By comparison, the 2-decade-long effort with V6 has been a long slug uphill, and we're still working at it. Why are some things runaway easy and others incredibly difficult? That's the kind of question I think we need to ask about security and what makes this so hard. I'd offer that there are 3 basic issues at play here in the whole security debate, which we're going to look at. This is not easy. Some things are technically extremely hard. And while we might understand what we want, a secure internet, knowing how to get from here to there is the real challenge. And we might not have any idea how to do that. The next is economics. This is not a free ride. Customers have to pay. There's no one else out there. You and I pay for all this. The costs of a solution need to be borne by the consumer. If the consumer doesn't see benefit, the consumer ain't going to pay. I can sell you a baby camera monitor for $5. It's great. It takes a picture of your baby all the time and it works just fine. I happen to get the IP stack from Boombox and it has a username of admin and a password of admin, but it's only $10. I can also sell you a baby cam monitor for $500. It's got all the same video, it's got the same behavior, it just happens to have a decent IP stack. As a consumer, what are you going to buy? Obviously $10, it's the same camera. So some things are economically hard because what we're really arguing here is you need to pay the extra dollars for functionality you never wanted to buy. That kind of argument is the argument we're trying to push out here. And it's an argument you're always going to lose in the market. You are pushing this stuff uphill, it ain't going to work. And last and not least, it's all about risk. Risk is terrible. We, as humanoids, do not understand risk. Who lives in California? Great. When's the next earthquake due? Any day now. How big is it going to be? Well, it's one of those 1 in 100 years, you know. Feeling good about that? Well, yeah, because you can point. Who comes from Seattle? Okay, the Cascade Fault. Do we need to say more? Every 600 years due, shit, it's at the time. And when it comes, there will not be Seattle. Do we understand risk? Well, if you ask the folk in Seattle, the answer is, well, probably not. So risk is really hard. These are the things that makes these problems hard. That went too far. God. So what was our successes? V4, obviously. Interestingly, Nats were a success. Just a runaway success. No marketing, no nothing, sold itself, despite the IETF, or maybe that was a feature. Nats just ran out the door. Interestingly, TCP was a success. I'd even say content distributions and taking on television, major success. These things all happened for various reasons. What were those reasons? Not everyone had to do it. I could do it and be a winner, and you could copy me, and that's okay, but we didn't all need to do it at once. Piecemeal deployment without orchestration is what makes the internet work. If you require something that doesn't use piecemeal, I'm pointing the wrong way, doesn't use piecemeal deployment, you're a loser. Security. Everyone has to do it. Oops. Competitive advantage to early adopters. That's what makes things work. The more people do it, the cheaper it gets. That's what makes it work. And common benefit with my benefit for each of us as units. That's what makes it work. When do we fail? We all have to do V6 at once. That's a fail. Orchestrated actions are a fail. When we require everyone to do it, otherwise it's not going to work well. That is so hard. When there are common benefits but not individual benefits. We all need to do this because it's beneficial to all of us. If you're wondering what I mean, I just need to use the words climate change to illustrate exactly what I'm talking about. Your actions in concert with everyone else might produce a better outcome. Individually, you're not going to see anything. And there's no clear early adopter advantage. All of these things are failure factors. What have we failed at? Well, we've succeeded at some things. We've failed at spam. Oh my God, we've failed at spam. We've failed at DDoS. These days, it's the top 10 of how big an attack you can make those web botcans come through. We're up to terabits per second. We'll get more. Because this is a failure. You really, really should do filtering of source addresses and stop folk lying in UDP. You don't. BCP 38, failure. We really should have secure end systems. Never going to happen. Failure. The Internet of Things is going to make the failure of end systems a failure that is 100 billion units deep. If the Internet of Things is anything but a looming disaster, I'd like to know why you think it's going to work. This stuff is horrible. We have no answer. We're just piling in the complexity, piling in the risk factor, and somehow thinking it's all going to be okay. So, in short, what we've failed at, and what we continue to fail at, is security. And my feeling is this failure is structural. It's not that we're not working hard enough. We're not speaking to each other enough. We're not going to enough conferences. We are. But the problem is much deeper than that. Why? Why is this so damn difficult? Why is it proving to win and we're losing every time? Back in the 1980s, to take on the telephone system, we tried a new way of doing communications infrastructure. And the buzzword was deregulation, leaving it to the market, removing the gigantic hand of control of the telephone company and replacing it with consumers and markets and private capital. The internet is not a state activity. I do not pay the government for my service. The internet roads are not built out of the public fund. It's a private activity. It's companies. And who controls that? You and I as consumers. This is a consumer-led activity. No one's in charge. There's no forcing function. Governments are actually dead set scared of scaring the horses and having their private investment capital flee to another country. The last thing they want to do is scare investment. And so in some ways, this is massively decentralised. No one's in charge. There is no right. There is no wrong. It's just a market. There's no authority to tell anyone, you shouldn't sell that webcam, you shouldn't sell that TV, you shouldn't sell that car. Its TCP stack is dangerously bad. It's a problem. No one's going to do that because no one's in charge. It's a market. And as consumers, we have no idea what we're buying. So problem number one, there is no authority anymore. We booted them out. The telephone company doesn't exist that way anymore. This is a market. So there is no authority. C1. What's true? What's false? Where is the source of truth if no one's in charge? Do we all just say whatever Google does is right by definition? We could. Or maybe it's ICANN. I'm sure David would help us in this problem. But ICANN would be the first to say, we don't run this stuff. We're just helping you do what you need to do. Same with the RIRs. We don't run it. So is it the browser forum, the CA and browser forum? Of course not. Maybe it's the US government. No, not like that. No one's in charge. There's no authority point. No one's going to tell us what to do. So if you're looking for a model that says, well, we all get security right if we were told what to do, we just need instruction, it ain't going to happen. What's success in the security world? It's a bit like what's success in the war against biological viri. You're never going to eradicate them. We're never going to achieve this kind of success. Any complex system that is complex enough to be useful, i.e. drive a car, is going to be so complex, it's going to exhibit what we call emergent behaviours. It's going to behave in ways that are totally unpredictable. If you want that complexity, you're running that risk. Aberrant behaviour is a norm. And whether it gets provoked as an attack or just is an accident, fat fingering, is always going to happen. We're never going to clean up the routing system. We're going to have a lot of fun trying, but we're never going to clean it up because it's such a complex, large, uncontrolled system that exhibits emergent behaviour. This is a terrible story. And if anyone thinks the crowd is the answer, I'm sorry, there's no wisdom in the crowd. Just because we all do it doesn't make it right. It makes it sometimes terribly bad. Rogue sources can mislead everyone. Your browser has at least 1,600 points of trust to understand what is the right website to make your browser bar go green. And folk exploit that, not quite every day of the year, but every second day. That so many points of trust become so many possible points of misleading and confusion. Large distributed trust is not trust at all, it's just massive vulnerability. So we're finding this problem that trusting the wisdom of the crowd gives you no points of trust at all. And I keep on hearing when I go to security for it, it's all about communication. If we all talk to each other, it would all be better. It's not like that. It's not about talking to each other. These systems are complex. They behave in ways we dimly understand. And the problem is too that markets tend to favour cheap product brought out quickly. When robust security is an invisible feature that simply costs money but doesn't alter the product itself, no one buys it. So if we just talk to each other, won't fix the underlying problem of consumer-led product not being built to what I would call a robust and secure standard. Interestingly, the airline industry fixed itself through massive regulatory impost. All crashes are exhaustively analysed. Failure points are identified. Manufacturers have a compact with their customers and with the public at large. If you want to get into this aluminium tube for a few hours, we're going to do our utmost to make sure it stays there the way we intended. Even cars have undergone the same thing. But our computers, every single vendor has bug-ridden product. Even Apple, whose basic business plan is making a secure, airtight platform, the Apple Unjail cracking comes out within weeks of every release. all of their effort cannot create a secure product. Is it a lack of will? Possibly. The market wants cheap, quick product. Is it also the fact that this is perhaps even more complex than an aeroplane? Possibly, because these are hideously complex systems. Talking to each other won't fix that. If you've ever played kinds of war games, or if you've been involved, attackers always have an advantage. In storming the castle, every single door, every window, everything is a point of vulnerability. Defenders have to defend everything. Attackers only need to attack one point. So attackers are always at an advantage here. In the security world, attackers win, naturally, because defenders can't defend everything all of the time. And locking the front door and leaving the back door open won't help either. Partial solutions are failures. Even improving security sounds to me like, well, we failed, because partially bad security and less partially bad security is still bad security. So in some ways, you need to be perfect if you're a defender, and that's a really tough word in this kind of world. What we want to do is to increase the cost of attack. We can't eliminate it. What we want to do is to make it difficult and expensive. And indeed, for most of us, what we want to do is to deflect the attacker to someone else. And that's all we want. We don't want to eliminate it because we just don't know how. We just want to make them go next door. Which leads to the next problem. If we're all facing a problem, it's nobody's problem. Shared problems become nobody's problem. No one owns it. The chances of any of us individually being attacked are actually quite remote. And so we ignore it because it's all of our problem all at once. And security is one of those shared problems, which is nobody's problem. So no one really takes it seriously. Oh, and did I mention we don't understand risk? We don't understand risk. And we don't even like it. I'm like, imagine if I had a lottery in this room and I got everyone to pay $1 and held it up in a bucket and said, right, you're the winner. Now, everyone sees, well, my dollar went to that person. I feel pretty good about this. I might be $1 down, but that person's $100 up. We're cool. But what if I said, no, I'm going to keep the money and one of you is going to get attacked, but I've stopped it. And I'm not going to tell you who. I think all of you would feel you've just spent $1 and you've been conned. But that's the security game we're playing. The win is something bad didn't happen. And all of you feel, well, how do I know it didn't happen? Why am I taking your word for this? Why isn't this just an elaborate con? And the answer is, well, you don't know. You really don't know. And so we don't like spending money on risk. We really don't like it. So when everyone pays and there are no winners, you kind of go, oh, won't bother paying now. And last and not least, Steve Bellovan came up with an amazing April Day Fool's RFC, which echoes today because it had that wonderful germ of truth in it. It'd be so good if bad identified itself. It'd be so good if there was an evil bit. Because the only way we know something's bad in today's world, because there is no evil bit, is we have to mark all of the good all of the time. DNSSEC works when all of you do it, not when one of you does it. RPKI will only work when all of you do it, not when one of you does it. And making all of you do anything when there is no authority, no forcing function, no clear benefit, no reward, is close to, wasn't it Sisyphus who the Greek gods gave a rock and a hill and said, this is it for eternity, just push it up there. And that's what you're doing. Because this is really, really, really hard. Because unfortunately, the bad folk don't say, hi, I'm bad, hit me on the head. So all the good people have to do all the work all the time. And I think last and not least, and this is the final one, we really don't know what we want. This is part of the known unknowns and the unknown unknowns kind of thing that Donald Rumsfeld was so famously quoted some years back. We know what we don't want. That's easy. But knowing what you don't want doesn't mean you actually know what you want. It just means you know some of what you don't want. It's challenging to actually understand what a correct internet would be. So what we do instead is a bit like the fire brigade. We just react when problems arise and hope that that's enough. It isn't. and victims abound, but that's what we do. Because sometimes it feels more reassuring to have visible motion, even when that visible motion is not progress. It's just motion. Doesn't achieve much, but we feel good about it because we're reacting, even if it doesn't achieve much. So I would actually say this is one of the hugest problems we've ever had. We are creating artifacts that in some ways challenge our own internal biology in complexity. We dimly understand how this stuff works when we pile literally billions of lines of code into devices that have 9 billion gates. Your car now has 155 separate processing engines. And you think, well, it's okay, it's just a car, we understand how it operates. That's hubris and that's wrong. We don't understand this anymore. It's kind of leaving our control. And I think at least we have to appreciate just the scale of the issue that we're being confronted with the internet, and stop thinking that it'll all be all right if we make a few billion more of them. Because when we make a few billion more of them and put them in every light bulb, all I can guarantee is that the problem will be far, far worse than the one we have today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Surely someone has some questions after that. No? Okay then. Thank you, Jeff. Actually, I've got a question for you, Jeff.
Revolution, it's killed me.
If things are bad, as you say, what can we do to make our lives bearable if we can't win this war?
You know, if I was 20 again, I would like to say there's something we can do. There's some energy, there's something we can do to grapple with this. And maybe it is just having lived through this and watching inevitably as the problems got more and more complex as we sort of develop this internet. This is hard. This is really hard. And as we try and sort of, well, everyone has to use security, everyone has to do this, we're sort of making the attacks way more sophisticated. You know, the original worm of 1988 wouldn't work anymore. The attacks are now really subtle and really good. But at the same time, I think the only advice I would have is be aware and very, very suspicious of the shiny and the new. Emojis in the DNS are a bad idea. They're a bad idea for so many reasons, but the major reason is actually security. In the internet, what you see on the screen is where you're going. But emojis have all these different representations. They're inherently unsafe. And it's kind of, why are we here? Why is our fascination to do stupid things overcoming our caution to do the safe thing? So I would sort of say, look, just demystify some of this stuff. Get back to some basics and stop being so fascinated with bright lights and shiny objects. And that's all I can say.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Hi. Oh, yeah, this is Frank from LinkedIn. You were mentioning, it's just a comment, you were mentioning about airline industry and safety report. I kind of question people around, but there is some kind of safety report that are issued based on breach, but they are not widely known, distributed, and not necessarily widely implemented.
I bought a television a couple of months ago. It has a full-blown IP stack. It has TCP. I have no idea who wrote it. I have no idea what the root password is. I have no idea if there's a security report about how good, how bad, or how crappy.
No, I'm not talking about the security report of the device. I'm talking about when there is a breach, because the airline industry is that when they have an incident, then they try to find out what's the root cause and try to fix it. So there's this kind of analysis that exists.
Right, but
they are not well propagated to the rest, and there's nobody to say, well, no, everybody needs to implement that to avoid this problem to reoccur.
I'm saying that in this massive world of consumer devices, which is where our technology goes, when I'm shopping on Alibaba for a $10 router, all the security reports in the world won't stop me buying something for $10. And that, I think, gets to the root of this problem. The consumer market has no idea of quality, and the supply side market panders to the lowest cost. This is a nightmare on steroids.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Okay, so national certs, as we heard from Jiyoung before, play a role in information sharing and responding to security incidents. But network operators themselves need security incident response teams as well. Ben McDowell is the group chapter lead, security lead at Spark, which is New Zealand's largest telecommunications operator, and he's going to come to talk to us today about sharing a Spark's cert story. Welcome, Ben.
Hello. So today I'm just going to do a small presentation on who I am, who Spark is, the evolution of our SOC over the years, and the relationships that we use to defend our networks against attacks and our ISP networks against attacks. And then a little bit about the future and what we're up to next. So myself, my name's Ben. I'm the chapter lead for group security. It's a really odd title. It is pretty much just incident responder, lead responder, and you can find me on GitHub. That's pretty much it. So who is Spark? Spark formerly was known as Telecom. We were the monopoly for telco services to New Zealand in the 80s, and we got forcibly broken up. We're now the largest fixed line mobile and ISP operator in the country. And we're also the majority owner in the Southern Cross cable networks. We are ourselves also a large corporate, so we have the complexities of that as well. We have a number of companies that we own. We have things like cloud providers, virtual mobile network operators, big data analytics companies, media distribution companies. We've just been going around buying up a whole lot of things. So specifically around the detection and response capabilities that we have within our company, we have three distinct teams that make up our detection and response capabilities. We have an MSIP SOC who is tasked with looking after customers' security incidents. We also have an internal SCERT team that you can see on the bottom right-hand corner. These two teams here are distinctly separate because customers are demanding and we can't look after ourselves enough with all the customer stuff going on. So we decided to split out and have our own cert that we can use to make sure that Spark as an entity is secure, and along with all of our subsidiaries. And we both leverage the same 24/7 SOC that operates out of Auckland. So it didn't get to there by any stroke of magic. We started off this journey in the year 2000, and we had a whole lot of ad hoc monitoring. Our main revenue driver back then was plain old telephones, and that was going to decline. It was going into decline even back then. We were looking to digitize telephone systems into VoIP and SIP-like things. That's when upper management actually got worried about security for once, and decided that would hire 2 security people. So we got 2 security people to monitor one product for a company that has 5,000 staff and a whole lot of other companies to work with. We also had poor visibility across everything else. So corporate space, ISP space everywhere. We had pretty much nothing, and we had no management buy-in to go and buy anything else that we needed to find out what was going on in our network. Now specifically the management buy-in is an interesting story. We did originally have vendors coming in externally with big plans and big projects that they wanted to put in to help us in our telco and our ISP space. However, they were just trying to solve world hunger. It was too big, it was too much, they never got finished, and management saw absolutely no value whatsoever in these projects. So inevitably budgets were lost. I think we went from budgets of over 10 million and we ended up with a budget of like under $100,000 for detection and response over the course of 5 years. So what do we do to turn it around? Those 2 staff members that were brought in to help secure the telephone network saw some really bad things going on at a corporate level and at an ISP level. And they started to tell some stories, and they started to use some pictures, and they just started to solve some small things to show some value. One of the things that they did is they put a slide deck together called Inappropriate Touching. And it was specifically designed around our webmail platforms, for us and for our customers, around what we saw activity was hitting them. We didn't have a lot of visibility. All we had was logs for 24 hours across a bunch of mail servers. We decided to use that as an opportunity to show upper management a bit of a glimpse of what's going on, what they see as an important product or important capability for our company. Inevitably, when we showed them a map with red dots in countries that shouldn't have red dots and there should have been red dots in other countries, they started asking the questions of why is that going on, and that doesn't look good. And no, it didn't look good, but we really didn't have the visibility that we needed to be able to answer those questions. So the next series that we went through was a series called Can We Watch? And it was around, can we watch what they're doing when they get into our webmail platform? So in order to do that, we needed funding, right? So we got some funding. We repurposed workstations that people didn't even want to use anymore for their daily work. We repurposed them and put them into network segments so that we could start seeing what was going on. Once we did see what was going on, it was really concerning. There was people inside our network accessing webmail. And it's a simple thing, webmail, right? We should have a control around webmail so that the right people are accessing it and the wrong people aren't. But we saw from putting in that kind of primitive logging and detection capability straight away that there was really bad stuff going on. Inevitably, the question came back from upper management was, well, we got to stop that, right? So there was some investment and funding given to stop that. That whole thing was isolated around webmail and solving the one problem around webmail. But what it did is it increased the awareness that we need to look after what we're putting out there for our company. It increased the intrigue and it gained attention of upper management. And it's really a story of starting small and starting something and showing some value and moving on it. And it's something that we do on a case by quite often in our organization, especially now we've moved to an agile delivery model. Start small, start something, and show value. So from there, we got funding for things like IDS and packet capture technology across the perimeter and into our ISP space. Click. Okay. So while we started to develop out these capabilities across our organization, we started to identify people in the community that can help us. In New Zealand, we're not, it's an isolated country. We don't see people at the pub who work at a technology company and we can talk about things with. We are very isolated, right? We work with our competitors really heavily. We have a quarterly forum with the top telcos in the country where we share incidents. We talk about what happened. We have a TLP red level, meaning that the privacy and nothing should leave the room. There is some apprehension, but generally people will share what they are seeing because you're probably going to see it yourself as well. In the early days, we worked with Team Cymru and Shadow Server quite heavily. That gave us an idea on our ISP space and on our corporate space how bad things were. And they are bad, and they are still bad. It's really hard to make end users change their modems and think. Nobody wants to hear Spark calling them because typically it's a scam. So we have a really hard time cleaning up our consumer space still. We are one of the founding members of the NZITF, which is the New Zealand Internet Task Force. So that's a New Zealand community focusing on improving the security posture of New Zealand. So it's made up of all the critical infrastructure providers in New Zealand and also other corporates, large corporates, and individuals with really, who are really passionate about security and helping New Zealand. During incidents, this is where our country plays out how this incident's going to occur and how we're going to, as a team, thwart it off. So we share the high-level intelligence we know around it, and we share the low-level indicators of compromise so that people can defend themselves and we can defend the country. And we also, because we are the largest ISP, and we also have access to Global Gateway, we can quite easily, or not easily all the time, but we can obtain information to tell everybody how bad it is really going in our country. So when WannaCry happened, that played up inside that forum for us as a country. We also work really closely with our national CERT, CERT NZ. They are like really new. We're one of the last, I think one of the last developed countries to get a CERT together. We want to share threat intelligence. We want to share threat intelligence with everybody. It's really hard. And we share things like security awareness training, NetSafe, and Cyber Smart Week. And that's, we share information that we've seen with them so that they can help better educate the general public as to how to secure themselves better. We also work really closely with government agencies and get timely TI off them and use that to protect our customers on the whole. Our ISP and broadband network, we've, over the years, made improvements and enhancements so that we can do DNS blocking if we see the threat is large enough. We can do IP black holing if we see the threat is large enough. And we make that decision based off discussions with government agencies at the time. Not for like copyright kind of things, but for like actual bad stuff. All of our members, a lot of our members are also part of other trust groups, and we are FIRST members ourselves. So FIRST was a really big milestone for us as a CERT establishing ourselves. It meant that we were globally recognized and that we had to mature our way that we did incident response for ourselves considerably. So we had to put the documentation together around incident response plans. We had to emergency response plans, incident response plans. Our organization had to actually confirm that we were an incident response team. We weren't some kind of shadow group sitting in the corner just doing whatever. And it gave us a level of trust inside the community, seeing our dot on the website. And one of the more important things is it did give us the opportunity to work with in relationships with other incident response teams who see the same things as us and who use the same tools as us. So that takes us to where did we end up? Right now we are probably the leading CERT in New Zealand. We are by far the largest. We have a dedicated SOC with 40 members at the moment. And we are ingesting about 5 terabytes of log data a day. Our Elastic clusters just are never big enough. And now it's giving us an opportunity because we have the basic incident response stuff down pat that we're able to go threat hunting through these data sets to now start to be able to actively work out what's going on out there and how can we as provide back to the community interesting things that we are seeing. And we've also built in some some red team capability into our organization. Mainly they help around penetration testing of our apps. Our teams love to just put stuff online, unfortunately, all the time. So we have a team running around chasing them, doing penetration testing 24/7. But they also do offensive stuff to try and keep the blue team on top of their toes. And one of the really most important things, I think, is we have a really good relationship with upper management right now, and management seeks us. They seek us to ask us, does this email that I got in my inbox okay? That's one of the ones where they seek us. But more importantly, when they see things in the newspaper around vendors that they don't trust, things that they've read online, they come to us and ask us. But it creates a relationship that we use ourselves as well. So in incident response time, it's really, really important that we can get answers quickly so that we can defend for our organization and for our ISP. If we need to take a service down, someone needs to make a decision and we can't really sit around. If we need funds to put in more detection or more protection capabilities, it's really important that those decisions can be made rapidly. So that's where we've got to today. And where are we going from here? Right now, we're really working around nurturing our relationships inside the New Zealand community and really about giving back to the New Zealand community. Because we are the largest ISP, we do have a lot of data, and I'm not going to freely send that to everybody, but If somebody comes to us and says, hey, there's this new WannaCry, and these are the domains it's used, is it being used in New Zealand? We can say yes or we can say no. Yeah. And right now, one of the focuses for us is aligning with our company goals of things like 5G. 5G for us is really big on our radar, and we really don't know what we're going to expect when it comes along. There is some thought going into it at the moment, but the problem is it's just going to end up going off and doing its own thing. So we're going to have the right response capability there so that we can, at the time, respond to any incident. And also our company is still changing. We are moving to a media distribution company as well. We're doing the Rugby World Cup next year. So we need to align with organizations and groups that play inside those verticals, so that when we do incident response, we know there's a media company that is on this list that maybe they've seen these things happen before, and maybe they can help us out. One of the other things that we need to go to as a country is move towards proper sharing of threat intelligence data. We do it really poorly, and I'd love to talk to somebody about how to do it well. Sticks and taxi are great, but they're creating such a big bar for people to be able to implement them into their technologies at the moment. And the inconsistencies around different versioning of sticks and taxis is also making it super hard. So right now, our community is emailing around IP addresses, is emailing around email addresses, is at that level of, well, it's not really timely anymore because I got it this morning and now it's not useful. We're right there, right? And we don't want to be there. We want to move to somewhere where we can automate this stuff more. But it seems like maybe some of the technology still needs to come away, and we need to make it easier for people to play part in those communities. So I hope you learned a little bit about our Spark and us at Spark and how we detect and defend against incidents in New Zealand. Is there any questions? No.
Any questions at all for Ben? No? Well, I've got one. It took a while, obviously, from your start till now to build your team. How hard or how easy was it to find the skills and to find the trained security personnel for your team to build it up to the size it is today?
So back in the early stages, we weren't hiring specific security people. We were hiring top talent from IT teams. Since then, a lot of the universities have come out with cyber degrees, and there has been some good ones and some bad ones. We struggle being in the bottom of the world, and people have to make a huge commitment to move over. So we're pretty much, at the moment, the SOC is consuming out of universities, and our CERT is hiring from overseas. It's really, really tricky, and it's really time consuming. We don't really want to get into the state where we're only promoting our SOC members to seniors, because we need the fresh ideas and at things coming in from overseas. If we're just training the same people over and over again, there is a concern that you miss out on any of that. But it's hard. I think I'm hiring at the moment, and he's waiting on his visa, and that's been about a 7 or 8 month process. Yeah, to get one responder. So it's ridiculous. Yeah, really hard.
All right, thanks, Ben. That was great. Okay, finally, we have Adley Wahid from APNIC is now going to talk about what APNIC is doing in the world of security. We are helping the community deal with security threats, and Adley will go through that in a moment. If you're not familiar, Adley is APNIC Senior Security Specialist, and he spends a lot of time out and about delivering security training to the region and providing advice. So, welcome, Adley.
Thank you, Tony. Hello, everyone. I'm here today to share a little bit about what we do. with the community in terms of cybersecurity engagement. And let me see how this works. Oh, it's the big green button. All right, so the plan today is to cover a few topics, but instead of talking about our history and what we've been doing, I'd like to focus more on the collaboration aspect of our engagement and maybe highlight some of the activities and some of the opportunities that we are seeing out there. And at the end, maybe some reflection on what can be done better and what is important in doing collaboration and having cooperation in delivering security activities in our region. So I have a couple of stories there. When we started out, I think actively doing security engagement, the plan was very simple. Number one, we want to engage with different communities in addressing security. So security is a beast. There's a lot of problems, as we have heard. There are different angles to it. There is a policy angle, there is a technical angle. Then there are various communities that are trying to do something about security. And oftentimes they don't communicate, but they do communicate these days. And still yet, we still have a lot of problems out there. There is also a need to increase awareness. Some of the presenters earlier, like Ben or Jiyoung, mentioned that their journey started way back in the 90s or in the year 2000. We still have economies in our